so we just haven't got there yet. But I can tell you that there is a LEED building that's called Business Instructional Facility, and it is like located here. And across the street, we retro-commissioned a 50-year-old building called Wohler Commissioning for Economics, and they found that the energy use is almost the same, if not better, in the Wohler than the LEED building. And that pretty much floored everybody. I had to shut up, right, because everybody started coming unglued. We spent all this money to go LEED, and then we did this, right? I just had to shut up. So I walked out. Yes?
Do you have any plans to go back to the buildings that you started in 2007?
Definitely, yeah, definitely. And they're thinking of a 5 to 7 year rotation. And so we're sending in a different team though, because our team is really doing a lot of maintenance in regards. But we're going to send a second team just to calibrate sensors, do this preventative maintenance, and hopefully start getting ahead of the system now. Yes?
How does the state of Illinois compare to the state of California in that? You're saying you got money from them, but the U.S. is in trouble financially and wondering what's going on.
You're right. I think there's a lot of undertaking. No, I'm just kidding. That's Illinois too, right? Chicago and the mafia and stuff. So that is not happening. In debt comparison, I did have a slide previously that showed those debts. I think California was in the range of 20 billion, and in Illinois it's 7 billion that it was in debt. And so it's interesting though, because it's the same for the university. There's specific pots of money and funds that have to be spent. So they could say they're broke, but there is a pot of money, but they can't use that money for that specific endeavor. So the money is gridlocked into a certain path. And so in regards to this energy commissioning, they received the money. I think it's from the Recovery Act as well, was part of the money, and whatever Obama is generating. And so then that is gridlocked into this channel. They have to spend it on people doing these programs. They can't spend it on anything else.
Just one last question.
Sure, yep.
Notice no renewables in your plan. Photovoltaics or solar thermal. Do you have any?
We've looked at it, but not for retro commissioning, because we're low capital investment. But the new buildings going in have plenty of solar voltaic. We did a comparison for a windmill in our area, and the students generated quite a bit of money for it, but we found it wouldn't pay back for 35 years to install it, so we scrapped the idea. And solar voltaic is coming down in price, but it's still quite pricey. Other questions?
I have one for you.
That's not allowed. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm in charge. Do you have a statistic on what your average energy savings are per building?
Yeah, 26%.
26%.
26%.
There's a friend of mine who claims, when I first met him, he claimed he could reduce the energy consumption in any building by 10%, just by going in and tweaking controls. And he's revised that lately to 25%, so it's also maybe he's right.
He's right, yeah. It is right there.
What was your lighting when you started? Before pre-retrofit, what lighting was it?
T12.
Okay. So maybe 18% right there.
Yeah, could very well. Well, that's not ours though. So that's somebody else's energy. This is just the retro.
So, given the process and some of the stuff you did around occupancy and set points and all that stuff, and of course it's a wild guess, but how much do you think you could reduce the new LEED building?
Oh man. Well, I was reading this on the plane. I had 24 hours. No, I'm just kidding. 6 or something. He talks about great expectations and helping FMs to bridge the gap between the goals of LEED and the realities of operation. And it's interesting. I think, well, it depends how well the contractor installs the system. If he does a really good job and it's commissioned and it's done right, I shouldn't say a thing.
But presumably there'll be all the design setbacks, and that'll still be part of a normal consulting process that you would, and the realities of occupancy that.
Yeah, true. That could change. But we're trying to install occupancy sensors in every room now, so
Right.
that it automatically controls if someone's there and if they're not there. Because they're very flexible, they come and go. Professors, I mean, they're there at 2 in the morning and then they're not there at 10 in the day. It's like, well,
Well, I was just curious, as you talk about, you know, just a simple sign engaging occupants in contributing to the energy management of the buildings, what other programs, other than, you know, signage in the lab, are there, you know, focused programs to educate occupants?
yeah, we have energy liaison committees. Not personally myself, I'm in the mechanical room working. But this marketing gentleman is out there and he's communicating across campus to the energy liaison committee, sending out newsletters, educating them how they can do better. And I think each building very frequently has their own internal newsletter. And so the information that comes from that goes internally into the system.
So there's representatives within buildings who are the liaisons connecting with.
Connecting with us. We found that works best to have one facility manager per building. If you can get that.
What's the cost of electricity?
We are paying, my savings rate is a nickel an hour, kilowatt hour. So I think it's close to 9 or 10 cents that we charge.
Great. And, sorry, is there time of use and all that factored in there, or no?
No.
But you have that big thermal storage for cold water, I thought maybe that had to do with time of use.
That definitely has to do with time of use, when we purchase the power. Yeah, so we generate somewhere between 0 and 54 megawatts, and then we purchase the rest of it if it's more economical. And so to reduce the demand charge, you bet, and do it at night.
Thank you.